Hello everyone. Good morning to all. Welcome to biology class. So we are discussing about the chapter reproduction now, and we study the structure of male and female reproductive system, and what is fertilization, and what are the changes taking place to the female body or fertilized egg or zygote after fertilization. Okay. Then we can see the next topic of this one, that is a sexual cycle in human females. Okay, we know that the capacity for the production of sperms, that is a lifelong process in case of male. But in case of female, the production of gametes, that is not a lifelong process. It may ends after a particular age period, around 45 or 50 years of age, it may ends. Okay, so in between this or the reproductive phase of human female, that is starting at the starting of puberty or in the first menstruation, and it may ends in the or ends around 45 or 50 years of age. The sexual cycle in females, that is usually called a menstruation or menstrual cycle. When a girl reaches puberty at the age of about 10 to 12 years, the sex hormones released into her blood causes some of the ova in her ovaries to become mature. Okay, usually one mature ovum is released from the ovary into the oviduct once every 20 days. This is called ovulation. Before ovulation, the inner lining of uterus becomes thick and spongy with tiny blood vessels. That means it is preparing itself to receive the fertilized ovum or egg. The uterus is ready to receive the fertilized egg all the time. Okay, for that, a number of preparations are taking place inside the inner lining of the uterus. As a part of it, the inner lining of the uterus becomes thick and spongy with tiny blood vessels. Then, if the ovum is not fertilized, the thick and soft inner lining of the uterus is no longer needed there, and hence it breaks. That means the newly formed inner lining of the uterus usually becomes breaks. So the thick and soft inner lining of uterus along with the blood vessels and the dead ovum comes out from the uterus in the form of bleeding, and it is called menstruation. Okay, did you get? If the ovum is not fertilized, along with the newly prepared this inner lining of the uterus, the ova becomes ruptures and it may comes out from the body of the female, and it is marked by bleeding in human female, and it is called menstruation. Menstruation usually occurs 14 days after ovulation and usually lasts for about 3 to 7 or 8 days. After menstruation, the inner lining of the uterus again start to build or make, and so that it may becomes ready to receive the next ovum to get fertilized. It is ready to receive the next fertilized egg. Okay, if the egg is not fertilizing again, what will happen? The same process may repeat. That means the menstruation may happen. Okay, if the ovum is not fertilized even now, then the menstruations take place again and again. This cycle of menstruation is repeated again and again in human after every 28 days. 28, the cycle of events, that is usually need 28 days. This cycle or this menstrual cycle is controlled by the human female hormone. So usually the menstruation may starts during the starting of the puberty. That is the beginning of the reproductive life or of a girl or a woman. That is called menarche. That means menarche is the commencement of the menstruation, first menstruation at puberty. That is called menarche. It is usually taking place around 10 to 12 years of age. The end of the reproductive life of a woman is called menopause. Or in other words, we can say the permanent stoppage of menstruation around 45 or 50 years of age. That is called menopause. Thus, we can conclude that the reproductive life of a woman begins at menarche and ends at menopause. Next, population control and also the reproductive health. We know that the fertilization results in pregnancy. The stoppage of menstruation is the earliest sign or first sign of pregnancies. So population is defined as the total number of individuals of a species in a particular area that we already know. There are a number of various factors which lead to the increase in human population, which include decline of death rate, illiteracy, no family planning, desire of son, etc. A number of factors are there controlling this population, and there is an urgent need to give general awareness in our society regarding the prevention of unwanted pregnancies. So fertilization ensures the pregnancy. How can we control the unwanted pregnancies? There are a number of methods to prevent the unwanted pregnancies or to control the pregnancies. These methods are usually known as the contraceptive methods. Contraceptive methods are the methods used to control the childbirth or the unwanted pregnancies, which include barrier methods or mechanical methods, chemical methods, surgical methods, natural methods, etc. In barrier method or mechanical method, in this method, the physical devices are used to prevent the entry of sperms into the female reproductive system, which include the use of condoms in males and also the use of cervical caps in case of females. In chemical method, the use of oral pills or tablets to imbalance the to disturb the hormonal balance in human female body, use of chemical tablets which can prevent the fertilization of male and female gametes. Another method is the use of IUCD, intrauterine contraceptive devices. This device usually fits inside the uterus of human female, which can prevent the fertilization. That means which can, not fertilization, which can prevent the implantation of fertilized egg. Then surgical method. Surgical method is a long-lasting method, and here it is the permanent stoppage of this pregnancy. In female, it is called the tubectomy, and in male, it is called a vasectomy. In tubectomy, the cutting of a small portion of fallopian tube. Vasectomy, the cutting of a small portion of vas deferens. The fitness of reproductive life is called reproductive health. The woman's health is the backbone of every family, society, and also the nation. Controlled childbirth is one of the alternatives to maintain women's health and higher standard of living. Early marriages results in frequent childbearing. It may bring abnormalities in the health of human female. There are some infectious diseases which are transmitted through sex. These are called sexually transmitted diseases. These are different kinds of diseases which include gonorrhea, syphilis, AIDS, trichomoniasis, etc. The diseases such as syphilis and gonorrhea, all these are the bacterial diseases and are curable. Trichomoniasis, that is one of the protozoan disease. This is also curable. But the disease called HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, or AIDS. AIDS is caused by the virus called HIV. It damages the human immune system and the body becomes weak and cannot protect itself against diseases. So, AIDS is very dangerous disease which may lead to the death. There is no cure and there is no medicine till now. This disease usually spread by having sex with an infected partner, using contaminated needles and syringes to inject the vaccines, and using contaminated blades for shaving, and also by the transfusion of infected blood. About AIDS that we studied from 9th standard, already studied about that one. So that's all about the chapter reproduction. And then it is your turn to study and to write all the question answers and others. I will give the information regarding about all these question answers and others. Okay, thank you.